Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to yet another episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today, we continue our 52-year journey through film. I am Colton Robertson. I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. Happy December, buddy.
Indeed, yes.
Last month of the year. Last month of the year, last 5 weeks of this project begin now. So we are doing 2018's Blindspotting. Now this is, the last couple weeks have been exciting for me because within the last 3 weeks, including this one, we will have covered 2 of my top 10 favorite movies of all time, and they will both have been your first viewings of them in La La Land and Blindspotting. So I've been greatly looking forward to this, and I'm excited to get your perspective on it. It's one that I've loved for 4 years now since it came out. It's one I saw in theaters, and it was like I remember Tavares actually hit me up and was like, "Hey, me and his girl at the time were going to see a movie. I was invited to come along. We hadn't even decided what movie it was. Like, we're just going to go downtown, go to the fucking Alamo, the little dine-in theater, and we'll see what's up." And we got there. He chose Blindspotting, and I was like,
"Yeah, this would be an amazing movie to see in theater."
Oh, dude, the movie ended, and we just looked at each other, breathing heavy as all fuck. And then we walked to the Ride KC train car thing, which was like 6 or 7 minutes away in like complete and utter silence. Then we sat down and we were like, holy fuck.
I mean, I couldn't imagine being in another room with people during like the ending, like the end scene. Oh my god. Like I experienced that on my own and very alone in my room with just a TV, and it was still very much intense and like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, and like you're not the first person I've shown this movie to. I've like anybody who I've come into contact with, who I've had the opportunity to go, "Hey, you want to watch a movie?" I've tried to watch Blindspotting with them. I've done it to my parents. I did it to old homie Malik. And when Malik watched it, he was like audibly like, "Oh my fucking god! Oh my fucking god!" Like at the end, like just like, "What the fuck?" Like it's such a good goddamn ending, man, and it really just seals the whole thing together. But let me lay the groundwork for the folks. This is Blindspotting, released July 27th, 2018, directed by Carlos Lopez Estrada, and written by our main characters, David Diggs and Rafael Casal.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so we got our Good Will Hunting type beat going on here, with Matt Damon, Ben Affleck writing that movie, starring in it. David Diggs and Rafael Casal worked on this movie for like 10 years, refining it before it was finally able to get made. It is very, very cool, and their story in the movie is not far off from what their story is in real life. There are a couple of dudes who came up in Oakland, who were best friends, like pretty much all their lives. Like that's their whole fucking thing. Like they made it together, and here they are. But it's interesting if you're a Star Wars fan, you might recognize Janina Gavankar, who plays Val. That's Iden Versio in Battlefront 2. Yeah. Interestingly enough, if you're a Broadway musical fan, you'll recognize David Diggs and Jasmine Cephas Jones. because Daveed Diggs and her were in the original Broadway run for Hamilton. Daveed Diggs played Thomas Jefferson and Marquis de Lafayette, and Jasmine Cephas Jones played
the Jurassic Park, the evil dude who was gonna he snuck the amber or whatever in the
shaving cream can.
Yes, that guy. Oh,
he's the photographer who's like I superimpose the trees onto to show where they have they're cutting us down, boys. Now look each other in the eye.
Okay.
It's not sexual. Well, see, now it is, because you said that.
I was I'm like, I know I've seen this dude. I know I've seen him somewhere, and I just couldn't pin it. But now, okay, nice to know he's also in Space Jam. I don't think that's what I was thinking. I was thinking more of the...
Oh, yeah, he is in Space Jam. He shows up in the full uniform at the end and everything. Man, he's got a filmography on him, huh? But,
okay. Anyway, yes, weird side character.
Wayne Knight playing Patrick. Patrick, you a swell motherfucker, man, and I like everything about you except that shit right there. This is some amazing character work on a couple different sides. You know, I think Daveed Diggs and Rafael Casal really bring a presence to this role that, like, you know, they wrote it. I don't think anyone else would have brought it the way they did. You know, I think they knew what they wanted to do. They were able to put it on screen exactly as they wanted it, and it went really well.
So is this based on their? So this is based on their lives.
I think, at least based on what they've seen. Rafael Casal isn't quite as exuberant as he is in this movie. He's a little bit more toned down than he is in this movie for sure. Like after this, I saw him starring like something on Nickelodeon, and it was like, oh yeah, this guy's not just the gangster ass dude from Oakland, which I thought was hilarious. But it's
looking this up. Like it's like the TV series comes up a lot.
Yep, there's a spin-off TV show based around Miles's wife, with Miles in jail. He's incarcerated. So it's about how she deals with that on the outside and how she raises her son and stuff like that.
Oh, that scene.
Yeah, it's something I haven't gotten around to. I've been really excited about it and wanted to watch it since it came out, but it's on Stars, so I haven't had any access to it.
That they had a powerful scene.
They had a few powerful scenes, man.
Like the gun.
Oh,
I literally I was laying down watching the movie. It made me sit up. Like I physically sat up, and my arms just kind of froze in the air. Like
oh god, I cannot tell you the amount of times it just randomly elevates the tension out of nowhere. Like that's what's so awesome about this movie is comparing it to last week's Get Out. You know, it's like Get Out was clearly building a tension the whole time, while this is it's perfectly casual. There's not a lot going on. We're just doing our thing, and then some random shit happens that really escalates, and it's he needs to get back to the halfway house by curfew. He's at a red light. He's like, damn, man, I really got to get there. Green light, and bam. And that was the point where I was like, I texted you yesterday, and I was like, when you were watching it, you were like, I'm about 12 minutes in, and I was like, yeah, you're still trying to get a feel for the tone, huh? And you were like, yeah, and I was like, it will become crystal clear within the next 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I don't know, it was just kind of like casual life. It seemed, at first. And I think that's an important part of the movie is that, this is pretty much real life, with all those some dramatizing some characters, whatever.
I say it's about as real as Boys in the Hood.
Yeah. And I think that's, coming off a movie like Get Out last week, it's very, Get Out was racism in a very niche and unrealistic way, but this is very
with the whole Order of the Coagula, replace a part of your brain.
Like, it's still racism, and racism's racism,
Yeah.
But in this movie, it's very, very clear and very based in real racism, like in the world we live in. And I think, that it's way more impactful. Like, this movie, its impact on racism is much greater than I think of Get Out. I leave this. I don't know. I feel like I leave this movie more thinking of real life and racism rather than in Get Out. I leave kind of like, oh wow, that was just a crazy movie, and that character moment was like I'm more of in the story and like of the thriller aspects of it.
Right, like this movie, and I'm gonna keep comparing it to Get Out since that was last week's episode. We just came off of it. Like, when Daniel Kaluuya is standing over white girl's dead body, and a cop car pulls up, there's not only there's a cop car pulling up, but there is reason for you to feel that tension. Like, he's standing over a dead body. When David is just walking down the street, and the cop car turns around, and you go, like, you're like, oh God, you like hold your breath, and like that's enough. Like, there is nothing. He does have a gun on him, and he's on probation. You don't want him to find it, but they don't know he has a gun on him. They don't know any of that shit. There is nothing about this man that looks like he's doing anything.
Yeah, he just did that because he could.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he didn't, he probably doesn't know that he just kind of terrorized someone.
Triggered a dude with some pretty brutal post-traumatic stress. Yeah, the way he breaks down, like, immediately after, like, the cop car pulls away, he just stands there and he starts sobbing. It's like, oh my God. Like, I wish I could watch this movie for the first time again, because I really don't think there's a movie that has made me feel the way this movie does, and Get Out, I know we keep going back to it. It's a really good comparison in terms of like the thriller aspects, but Get Out has it much more based in horror, like this is a thriller and suspenseful movie on realistic circumstance alone. Like, man, that shit hits hard.
Yeah, that was, I mean, it was clear, like, where the movie was going pretty early. As you said, it was like, yeah, it's going to be made pretty clear for you.
Yeah, like I was showing Emily.
But still, like, the tone of the movie was clear, but still I had really no idea of where the story would evolve.
Right.
Which was like interesting to see. Like, he's truly good now. He's
trying his best, man.
He's doing his absolute best. Like, he's doing everything he possibly can, and in the way that the system wants him to do it. And he's still like being ridiculed, and like no matter what, he can't escape that.
And that the manager of the halfway house tells him, he's like, you are a convicted felon now, and you are that until proven otherwise. Like, damn, man. And there's like a little foreshadowing to their to the crime he went away for whenever Miles is selling the boat. And he's like, you went away on a fucking fire technicality.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, did I? And he's like, how are we supposed to know hipsters are so flammable? And like, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, that part, like the fire technicality, I'm like, okay, did he like accidentally burn down like a building or something? Like what happened here? And
how are we supposed to know hipsters are so flammable? Whenever the dude comes in and tells that story later,
yeah,
like, man, that this movie just knew how to perfectly balance like a certain degree of comedy. Obviously with this dude, like, you needed that scene to have a comedic voiceover, because when they take away the comedic voiceover and you hear what's happening, and you hear the dude on the ground like, no, stop, I can't breathe, and he's getting stomped out, he's on fire, you're like, oh, this would have been really horrifying to watch the whole time. If the dude hadn't been like I hate my dad and shit like that, you know?
It also gives because he's saying this in front of Val.
Yeah.
And I guess Val already knows this.
Yeah, she was there. She saw it.
But Colin's like so ashamed of it, and in his head, you know, he thinks that all that she sees is the felon, and that's it. Just the convicted part of him, you know, not the good part. And
both pictures.
It's being told in front of her in a joking way, and that's like the worst. It's like the worst situation he could have been in. He was just coming in to clock out.
Clock out. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, and then basically gets embarrassed in front of his crush. You know?
Well, his ex-girlfriend, whose relationship was ruined because of this scenario.
Wait a minute. Oh my god, I did not even put those two together. They dated before?
They were dating when that happened.
Okay, that makes so much more sense. I just thought they had like a thing.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
They'd been together.
Okay. Wow. This clears so much up.
Val is a disloyal bitch. Did she visit you even once?
Okay. And I'm okay.
Did she put money on your books?
Yes, because I'm like, why would she, like, if they just had a thing, you know, I guess, like, maybe she'd come to visit, sure. But, like, now, okay, they were already together. Oh, that adds an interesting dynamic between them.
Oh, yeah, it does. It's,
okay.
And it's like, and there's a part of you that wants to go, like, come on, Val, be, like, but, like, it would be hard
to miss that. When was it? Like,
I guess maybe it is just sort of a headcanon thing, but it's just the way everybody's kind of like his mom when he visits home and he's like, well, I just assumed you and Val, and he's like, me and Val aren't together right now.
True. That's true.
So like, I just kind of picked it up that maybe it was never like, yeah, you're my girlfriend or whatever, but like,
it was through little.
They were an established couple that people knew, you know, and whenever Ashley, Miles's wife, comes out the window and she's like, I was talking to Val the other day, and Miles is like, yo, what the fuck? Like, you don't get to talk to her. And David's like, you can talk to whoever you want. She's a nice woman. Like,
yeah, I mean, man, Miles really does really not like Val whatsoever. Every morning comes into work with a snarky
he auditions them in the car.
Yeah. I mean, actually, like, a pretty funny movie. Like,
there are so many funny fucking moments, dude. Like, I remember first time I'm going to see it, the first 15 minutes, I'm like, oh, cool. This is going to be a nice buddy comedy.
Yeah.
And then it just, like, a black man gets shot by the police as he's running away, and you're like, oh, okay. So no, not just the buddy comedy that I thought I was getting into.
Not quite. Yeah, no, not quite.
And it was just such a potent movie for the time. This is another one that I feel like people should just be watching. Like, it's commentary on racism within the police force and outside the police force. You know, you got a lot of commentary on it as well. Gentrification got a lot there about how Oakland's being taken over by the hipsters, and got the kill a hipster, save your hood.
Split shots of like the really nice pristine part of town, and then just having like all the hipsters in it, you know, and then like the other half of the shot where it's the
worn down,
worn down, and now it happens like a couple times throughout the movie, which is like the style of the movie's really like very, I don't know what like word to use, like, you know, the voiceover over the fighting scene, you know, where it's just that dude's voice, you know, like and then the split shot of
Look
the
out.
city, and I don't know, I feel like there were just a lot of
On the nightmare sequence, you know, whenever he's Colin is a bad motherfucker. You know, and he sees Miles do a whole rap bit and like we loyal to the soil and we don't do no. Yeah, and he's got the bullets in it. The bullets enter his mouth in a shot that's in reverse, and like the judge slams the gavel over and over. He puts the police hat down, and it's like
firing bullets.
Yeah. Like, and he wakes up. He wakes up to a car alarm, and the way that car alarm comes back around throughout the movie to let you know that he's getting triggered by a car alarm, because that's what he heard whenever the guy got shot down. All he heard was burr, 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 burr. So at the end, when he walks up in that house and he doesn't have his jacket on, he's just wearing the white tank.
I thought
and you're
it was
like,
gonna go a way different way. Like,
it felt very ominous.
This alarm, I'm like, okay, it actually works. And you know, he was going back in without his jacket on, and I thought like a real cop was gonna come and see him taking stuff out of this house that was now empty, and an alarm was going off with him in just his tank top. And I thought,
that's absolutely the tension they're building there. Like, that's the tension they're attempting to build. And whenever he looks at the picture, and then like the sound just kind of drowns out, and you hear burr, 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 burr. At what point was there a point where you went, "Oh, I know who's in that picture"? Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't immediately. It wasn't like, oh, it's the cop. It was like, after he put the picture down and the camera didn't show it, right? And I'm like, okay, so this is someone we know. Like, this is, it's either someone we know or someone that he knows, and then like the alarm, like, go, and I'm like, okay,
he walks into the garage.
Shit.
Walks into that garage, and you see the Oakland Police Department flag, the Blue Lives Matter thing up on the top. And you're just like, oh no. And then you walk in there and you see the guy, and that entire scene, I'm sitting there like, oh my fucking God. Is he like, I mean, he's off probation at that point, you know, like he's not.
Point, it's like this trigger could be pulled, and this, you know, cop's brains are against the wall here. You know, like at any point, I'm like, when is it gonna happen? You know, I'm like, I kind of want it to happen,
right?
You know, a little bit, and like I'm like, okay, he's right there, and even like the moment when he screams. You know, and like after he,
dude,
I'm like, oh shit, here, and I'm so like, there's that tension the whole time of like, is he going to kill him? There's like the tension of what he's saying to him, and like realizing all of the real world aspects of it, and like just like taking all of that in at the same time, and then like actually seeing the cop like start to cry, and then like. Of course, he's like, I didn't mean to.
You sure?
Yeah, you sure about that, bud? And then he's like, and a small little detail that like I thought of afterwards was like the wife seemingly was leaving him, couldn't do it anymore, and like whether that's like the wife being like, you just killed a black man in cold blood and you didn't, like, I don't know how, like I don't know if it's. That's the reason she's leaving him, or like if he has become, you know, like if this has made him, I don't know. I guess
something that I don't know that I've really picked up, but something I was trying to keep a little more open mind for to discuss on the podcast was how that situation had affected him. You know, like fuck him, absolutely abusing your power in a way that. Fuck cops. That's all. Like, fuck that all the way. But I think it's important that as soon as David walks in, he recognizes him. He looks at him and he goes, "Oh,
yeah."
Like so, it's something that's replayed over in his head a few times. You know, I think it's something that I think probably ruined him. And it ruined him for his wife, ruined him for his kid. His wife and kid were like, yeah, we got to go, man. You are not the same anymore. Deuces. Like that's how I take it, you know? And I don't mean that to be like sympathetic towards him or nothing. I'm with Miles over here who's like, are you sure? Like, really?
I don't know, man. You did shoot him in the back.
Four fucking times.
4 times running away in the back.
Literally no reason. Literally no reason. There's never a reason, but there was literally no reason here.
If you're gonna shoot him in the back and he's running, like, even if you're gonna shoot him, like, you could try to aim for the legs. I don't know.
Something.
It doesn't, I don't know. To kill, like, to be able to volunteer for a job and then get a gun and then be able to, like, kind of legally kill people.
Hey, you know what you need? You need a fucking high school education, and you need, like, 8 weeks of training. Like, maybe. Like, what?
There is a person, I don't want to say their name.
No, I know exactly who you're talking about. Like, no fucking way. No fucking way. Absolutely not.
Our high school, and, like, was excited to be, like, a cop. I think they're actually becoming one.
They are.
Yeah. And, like, is excited about it. And is like, I can't wait to have the power that I will have. He's like,
not dox him. His name is, no.
Yeah, oh, here's his address. And just get, no. But, like, it's kind of crazy.
Well, to think that that's the kind of guy who becomes a cop.
Yeah. And, yeesh. You know?
Yeah, yeesh indeed. But I just kind of want to, I know it'll take a couple minutes, but I feel like I need to read Colin's entire...
Oh, no, for sure.
All right, so does this scare you? Huh? Fuck you know about being scared. The way his voice is like cracking as he's doing it, oh my fucking God, it's fantastic. He's pointing the gun at the officer. Were you afraid someone was going to come find you, huh? And Miles is like, bruh. And Colin's like, what? I'm just talking to him. You said make it pretty, right? It's the bounce of it. They like the bounce of it. And I was like, oh, what a fucking pull through that is. Whenever Miles sold the boat, and he's like, they like the way I make them feel. People like to listen when you got a bounce to it. You know what I'm saying? Like a tree on a sign, we cut right down. Paul Bunyan-ass cops come to chop me at the knees and search the trunk in my own town. Did you count his rings when you bled him? Huh? When you dead him? Like, and another pull through with that's 140-year-old tree stump. See the rings there? It was 140 years old. Did you count the rings when you bled him? When you dead him? Do you understand? How old was he? How old was he? He was 26. 26? That's how many years you decided didn't mean shit. All this talking don't mean shit. I mean shit. I've been in my element, eloquent, spitting hella developing. I've been telling, shelling, and not walking like a felon. I'm fucking flipping the middle finger to feeling irrelevant. What? I'll slow that down. I've been in my element, eloquent, spitting hella developing. I've been telling, shelling, and not to walk like a felon and fucking flipping the finger to feeling irrelevant. Reveling in my freedom till you turned heaven to hell. And hello, sir. I'm going to need you to open your fucking eyes now and look at me and see. You might think you know what's happening, but you don't feel like it. You don't feel it like we do. To feel it, it has to be you. Cut you, but you don't know what the cut do. You are reflex, but when reflux bleeds the gut, then you see the faces. Leave the vases. I was like, oh. Face vasing. It's face vasing.
Oh, no. He put face in there. Oh.
But when reflux bleeds the gut, then you see the faces. Leave the vases. You see one picture, you're not willing to see the other. And that interaction with Val right before that was the last phone call he had before this move.
That's right.
Where he's like, what'd you end up coming up for it? And she was like, blind spotting. Because when you look at something and you can't see the other picture, you have a blind spot. And he goes, well, is it possible to ever see the other picture? Like, but once the other picture is pointed out to you, can't you see it? And she's like, nah, that's you got to retrain your brain, which is like hella hard. And he's like,
Dang.
happened to you.
Yep.
It's like, oh fuck, man. Oh fuck, man. Shit. But goddamn.
Where I think you were reflex or vase. Leave the vases.
Leave the vases. Moving people in and out for a fee, feeding this town decay and appetite of me. So he's helping people move out to make room for the gentrifiers. That's that part right there. Like an appetizer, huh? I must be tasty, but I stay angry because y'all get hazy. I'm the one out here stuck on a clock, loving the curfew to keep me off the block. Fuck, what time is it? What time? Nope. Fuck it. I did my time. How come every time you come around, you monsters got me feeling like a monster in my own town? Ooh. I say it while I'm rapping, because everyone conditioned to listen to a rapping, but I'm rapping to the active, You the one capping, So quit the flash and feel like your passion. So quit the flash and feel like your passion. Hitting us till our headstone's stuck in the mud. We stuck it out. It turned us into some thugs. Got a whole city brand new, and they kicking us out. Maybe we should both break shit and make a fuss. I am both pictures. See both pictures. Don't be blind spotting me. See both pictures. Guess I'm a little bigger than a picture playing chicken with a cliff, but I ain't never been a flincher. Block is getting hotter. I'm gonna be the one to bring the winter, fucking everybody on the body of a cop of splinter. I mean, why wouldn't I dead him? He's splitting wigs for $80K a year and ain't from here. Who will miss him if he disappear? Filling up with fear, and I know you feel it. And the way he like gradually increases the speed of his cadence, where he's like just the tension building and building and building.
Slowly walking closer.
Yeah.
Closer to him too.
Yeah.
And
and it's like spot on his head. You see like the gun's like pointed practically right at the camera, and he's looking right at it, like walking towards it, and you're like, oh my fucking God, you're feeling this shit. Filling up with fear. I know you feel it. I've been feeling it for years. In fact, I don't remember never feeling it. The one that going dummy never felt the need to run, but I've been sprinting till I limp across the finish with a gun. And the way he like gestures back to Miles with the one that going dummy never felt the need to run. But I've been sprinting till I limp across the finish with a gun. Up in my blind spot, really. Ain't too hard to figure that you probably never really felt the pressure of a... But you know what? I ain't ever felt the pressures of a trigger. And then he screams, and you're like, oh my God. And he comes to the best conclusion that could have possibly come of here. And he goes, the difference between you and me is that I ain't no killer. I remember watching that for the first time, just like mouth agape, just like,
dude, just absolutely like, there's not many times that you can change someone's mind, whenever they're set in their ways, and there's not really much you can tell someone to like change their mind. And I feel in this one moment,
this is a life-changing interaction.
This cop is now like, okay, I fucked up. Like he's like, I cannot defend myself. Like after that, what? Even like his little rebuttal that he tried,
I didn't mean to.
Instantly shut down in one look. Like,
are you sure? And he goes, he doesn't even reply. He's like, nope, I'm not sure.
My wife and kids are leaving me. I just got freaking slam poetry'd on so hard. Like, I mean, what a way to get slammed on by being rapped to.
They like the bounce of that shit. They're gonna listen if you make it sound pretty.
And I mean, I guess if he was just saying these things, I don't know. Like
it's so eloquent. It's so eloquently done though, because it starts as him kind of just talking, and then but it's like a poem at that point, and then he starts going a little faster, and you're like, okay, he's rapping, and then he's cutting it up. He is chopping the lyrics, and you're like, oh fuck. And just the way they build the tension in that moment is so fucking effective, man. I've just like I'm yet to find another scene in a movie that makes me feel the exact way that specific scene does. You know, like it's a different breed out here.
You know, I said that a musical kind of has a whole different kind of talent to it because they have to act and perform on top, like dance and sing. And then, I mean, this is not everyone can do that. Like, you reading that line, like, was really impressive at some. Whenever you started spitting there for a little bit, not everyone can do that. I can't even come close to doing that.
I couldn't come close to acting like I'm on the verge of tears while doing that. Like,
long story short, who are we kicking out of the best actor of our nominations to put in here?
I love him. I really do, but I think Andy Serkis as Caesar might have to go. Didn't have as much to work with as these other guys. You know, I think if it was a later Planet of the Apes movie, we'd be able to give him a little more. But I think Andy Serkis has to go, and Daveed Diggs has to replace him in that nomination for the best actor. And you know, I think we might have to replace the best supporting actor for Rafael Casal as Miles. You know, that scene when he, I think it has to be Romilly. I love the character Romilly, but again, he just doesn't have quite as much to work with as a lot of these other guys. Romilly in Interstellar was a dope character, but I feel like Rafael Casal had to reach different depths for this movie. Whenever he's at the party, and the dude walks up and he's like, "Oh, you're wearing a grill? You don't have to act like that around here, man. You're good. You're good." And when he comes back to the table, he's like, "I just saw this hipster ass white boy. He's talking all this shit, and I told him you don't have to act like that here." And they're like, "Yep, thank you." And then he looks into the kitchen and he goes, "Ah, fuck. I know exactly what just happened, and I got to get out ahead of this."
Yep. He knew what was coming.
Yeah, and he still couldn't avoid it. And I felt so bad for that character here. Whenever they fight outside, and he's like, it's my last day on probation. I literally cannot engage with this, but Miles all the while is expecting him to. He yells for him when he's getting knocked on the ground. He's Colin, like, what are you doing, bro? Help me. And like, he's like, I really can't, man. And that the fight they have afterwards, it's just so many great scenes right in a row in the back half of this movie. Ooh. It's nuts. From the moment,
oh, I forgot about.
From the moment they walk out of that bathroom with the "Kill a Hipster, Save Your Hood" shirt, and they find Sean, his son, with the gun. From that moment on, there's not like a dull moment in this movie. It's like, it's just scene after scene in this, and he's like, "Say it." He's like, "Say what, man?" He's like, "Say it." He's like, "Nah, bro, you know I don't say that shit." And that whole monologue where he's like, "You are the one they are out here looking for."
Oh.
You know, he's like, "Nobody's got you fucked up. Everybody knows exactly who you are, Colin. Big black dude with braids. Nobody's misreading you." And he's like, "See, that's the problem, though. Like, that's, in fact, it's lending them to misread me."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said, like, I'm the one they shoot, or something along those lines. Like, so it got to that point. You know, he's like, maybe he was saying, like, you know, you do all this dumb shit, but who do they shoot? You know, who's the one that they're going to kill?
Who's the one they're going to kill when they pull up on us?
And it's like, oh. And then, like, after that conversation, when Miles goes back, are they married?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's Ashley Jones and Miles Jones, if I'm not mistaken.
So, he goes back to his wife and is like, don't call me that anymore. You know, he was
Yeah.
like, he's like, oh, okay, actually, like,
Yeah, now I got reasons, you know. Like,
man. But I also put them down for a writing nom.
oh yeah,
It
yeah.
filled it out. And there was just another empty spot. We didn't have to kick anyone out for that.
That's good. That's good.
Let's see. So we got our two main guys in here. Got them for writing.
I'll say we could probably throw a best actress nod or supporting actress nod at a couple actresses in this. I think Jasmine Cephas Jones as Miles's wife is worthy of. I don't know if she's a supporting or lead actress technically in this movie.
Would Val be more of the lead actor?
I really feel like Jasmine probably got more screen time.
Yeah. Val really only has.
I mean, she's there a lot because she works with them and stuff.
Parade scene.
That's a good one.
Was really nice.
The phone call.
The phone, yeah. And then just her at her desk, I guess, is basically the other.
Yeah. But I feel like I really feel like Jasmine Cephas Jones had to reach a little more for her role. You know, not to dismiss Val's performance because she conveys a lot with those big ass eyes, man.
Dude, her eyes. I literally, like, I usually don't take notes for movies anymore.
Neither do I.
I did for, like I almost started to for a Westworld episode, but then I was like, I don't know, I got this. Like, whenever they mentioned, like, 249.
Yeah, right.
I was like, okay, I got this number shit. But on this one, I almost started taking notes again, and I almost said, like, holy shit, her eyes are so, like, just pretty. Like, the shape.
Oh, and they're so expressive, you know, like, she doesn't have to do a lot of facial acting because her eyes convey exactly how she feels. It's kind of nuts. Like, whenever he asks her over the phone, like, now when you look at me, do you only see the fight? And she doesn't answer, but the silence is the answer, you know? Like, I think that's,
Oh, yeah. Like, she, like, she knew the answer, like, deep down, but didn't want to say it to hurt, like, hurt him. But then, like, I think she was also thinking in that moment, like, oh, shit, like, she realized that she was thinking that way, but it also hurt her, too.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's not my aim. It's not like I'm going out of my way to picture that in my mind. It's just like, how am I going to see anything else now? You know, and like, I mean, you see your boyfriend standing over a dude's flaming body as he begs for mercy. I mean, it probably is pretty hard to get past. Like, that's gotta be rough, you know? And then when she says, like, he was in the hospital for a week, I was like, he got off light. He got off light. This man was burning alive and was getting fucking curb stomped. A week in the hospital? I thought for sure this man was, like, near death and, like, went into a coma. Yeah, like...
I mean, shit. Yeah, maybe that was just make it a little easier on the story if this dude just didn't.
Right. Like, yeah,
like go into a coma or something. Just be like, yeah, he's in the hospital for a week. Fuck the guy, you know, or whatever. Over a drink, though, you know, it like all of this,
all over a drink.
Yeah, over one little thing can change your life. Like that's like that one confrontation, like made him a convicted felon. You know, like his life was forever changed. Like after that. And it's just that one little,
and the points Val was spitting at him about Miles, you know, like, yes, Miles is your boy. You love him, and I get that, but he puts you in situations that are only going to be problems for you and not for him.
And immediately, like, it happened. Did she say that before the gun and the party?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she did, and there's a really, really impactful shot after he'd finished beating that dude's ass and slamming his head against the car. Rafael Casal, after he slams that dude's head against the car, where David is looking at him like he's like breathing real heavy. His eyebrows are all twisted and stuff, and he looks. The camera shows us a perspective of what Colin is looking at. And it's Miles with blood dripping down his mouth, crazed, a black man on the ground writhing, and him standing having just beat the shit out of him. And I think in that moment it's a little bit of a he's just kind of like it doesn't matter the context. Like it's that's what she saw, you know?
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Man. I was all like, because after Miles beats that guy up, he like fires some shots into the air.
Oh God,
I don't know how many? I think it was like 4 or 5.
It's like 3 or 4, yeah.
But I was wondering if like that was going to come back around. Like whenever he had the gun on the cop, I didn't know if it was like reloaded or whatever. If he like was going to try to pull the trigger and then like it was going to be
interesting.
Like and like so that was going through like my mind like at the very end too. Was like is this gun even loaded in the first place?
Yeah.
Is he going to kill him? Like is it, like I was bouncing back and forth like while I'm hearing him, like just speech, just absolute. Just
oh my God, what a fucking
box, like just absolutely speeching.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite performances ever with Daveed Diggs as Colin. Just I absolutely love it. But that scene between Miles and Ashley back at the place after the fight, where he comes home and he's beating his shit, and she's like, "You better not have a gun on you," and then she sees that he's been busy, and the whole interaction they have thereafter, where she's like, "I know why you felt you needed a gun. I get it. I absolutely do. But did it scare you when you saw Sean with a gun? Yeah. Now, don't you think that if you told me you had intentions of getting a gun, we could have prevented that very situation? Yeah." Like,
women,
man.
That we just need them. We just, we, as men, we just do stupid things, and we think we got everything figured out. But then it takes, a mom or just, just someone to be like, to give you that, like, that talk. The tone she was using to talk to him was very like, let's learn this lesson.
Yeah, like,
I already
come on
know
now.
I'm right. I already know I'm right, so I'm going to teach you this lesson real quick. Listen to me. These questions are rhetorical.
And the recognition on her part to recognize that it's no longer a fight.
Yeah.
Like, she knows he knows she's right. Like, he knows he did wrong. She doesn't need to keep piling up on it. She's like, let's just learn from this and move the fuck on. And
that spinoff would be really good between them. Is it
right?
the same actor and actress?
Yep.
Oh,
Both
shit.
of them are the
Okay.
same. But I think Rafael Casal he's in jail in the show. And I'm also not sure if it's exactly a sequel series. I think it's just kind of a spin-off with the same characters. It might not be like a continuation of the story necessarily. It's just kind of like all right, let's see what we did with that. Let's make it a TV show and kind of reprise the same characters. But
Man, I might give that. Oh, I guess it's on Stars though. You said?
Yeah, that's the thing, is that I think you, no matter what, have to spend some money to watch it in some way, shape, or form. Whether it be on like Stars Plus or whatever the fuck, or like Apple purchases or whatever. But
any nomination we're missing here?
I don't know. Let's I think the direction's really, really strong. If I'm being honest, I know next week we're concluding the decade.
Ooh.
And that's going to get the director nod above this one. And it would be my first out. So like, I'm gonna hold off. I think Bong Joon-ho for Parasite is probably gonna seal the deal on that last nod for best director, because I did love the style of this movie, but more than anything, I really do think it was the performances and the editing that really, really elevate this movie. For my money, the soundtrack side of things is really interesting, because there's not necessarily an actual soundtrack for this movie. There are a couple albums that have been put out because of it. There's a Blindspotting Miles EP and Blindspotting Colin EP where they each have a bunch of songs on, which is hard as fuck. Strongly recommend. Both of them go nuts.
Wait, he actually has music? Like
David Diggs?
This one EP. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they have. He's in an experimental rap group. David Diggs. I think it's called Clipping.
Okay.
He was, like I said, he was in Hamilton. So if you check out any of the songs featuring David Diggs on the Hamilton soundtrack, you'll recognize that he had the hardest fucking shit in that production for my money.
Top 10 most popular songs are all from Hamilton.
I believe it. I've spun those more than a few times.
Yeah, I've never seen Hamilton.
Well, I think we're working our way there for you.
Yeah.
We're almost there, you know.
I've heard so much about it, and there are people that like Hamilton on like the Disney level. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, like there are like people go crazy for that, and I can't believe I just haven't like gotten myself to watch it yet. No way, like people like it has to be good. Like, well, that's the thing. Like,
that's another thing too, is that if you're into history, you're probably gonna fucking like it. The American Revolution period in general, it's a really cool capturing of that. It's a rap musical for the most part, so it's fucking dope.
Actually.
Oh yeah.
I had the impression that this was like a long running musical that has been like a musical for a very long time.
Nah, actually, Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote this musical 10 to 15 years ago. Or he started working on it 10 to 15 years ago. Presented it at like the fucking presidential dinner before Barack Obama and the entire fucking like place. Like, I'm announcing that I'm going to be doing a Broadway musical called Hamilton, and Lin-Manuel Miranda is actually the director of our 2021 movie Tick Tick Boom.
Oh.
So we've got a lot to look forward to there, but Hamilton is it's definitely not a first musical. Like, don't fucking go, I've never watched a musical, I'm gonna jump into fucking Hamilton. You know, like La La Land was a good first step. I think Tick Tick Boom will be another step in the right direction, and then you'll be ready for something like Hamilton. It is much more, you know, it's theatrical, it's on Broadway, there are no speaking parts. It is literally, from the moment it starts to the moment it ends, it is songs telling that story. But it's pretty outstanding. But nevertheless, back to Blindspotting a little bit.
Throwing in a little. I know we're not supposed to go to the actual fun side of the nominations here, but have to make a nomination for best hair. Whenever he had his hair straightened because of
what a fucking scene that was.
Yeah, the flattening.
Alloy metal.
He is a salesman.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
this money is going to make sure that we can send students to bilingual education and help incarcerated men get a happy life afterwards. And he's like, "You ain't lying. You ain't lying."
Oh man. And whoever like was in charge of the salon, you know, and they're like, who dares talking in my shop? And then all the girls are like,
ooh, yeah. And that was Tisha Campbell as Mama Liz. She's fucking outstanding. Awesome. I know her from Martin is what I'm most familiar with her from, but Tisha Campbell, she was fucking outstanding.
Ooh, and then like Colin was like, "This is gonna be a show. You're gonna want to watch this." You know?
Yeah, it's gonna be a show. It's gonna be a show. God, there's so many great scenes in this movie. Oh, I mean that scene after him and Miles have had the fight and they're about to go on their first move of the day, which is the cop's house. And Sean comes out and he starts hitting him. He starts hitting him over and over, and he's like, all right, man, that's good. And it just keeps going to the point where he goes, "Hey, stop that." He points a finger at him, and the kid goes, "Don't shoot. It And he just looks at him like, oh my God, ain't that horrifying? This is a 5-year-old kid who has to be taught this. This is the thing he must learn, which is just fucking devastating. It's just fucking devastating. And like,
it's a weird feeling to come out of a movie like feeling like shit. It doesn't mean the movie is shit, you know.
Oh, absolutely
not in any way. But it's like it almost is. If you're coming out of a movie feeling like damn, like devastated and feeling like shit, it's almost like it has to have been a pretty impactful movie.
It had to have hit you.
Yeah.
It had to have hit you on a level that you just weren't anticipating, probably.
No, I mean, yeah, because this was a first watch for me. I mean, I've had, let's see, Big Short, La La Land, Blindspotting, all first watches for me. And I've been enjoying this so much, seeing all these like new movies for the first time and them just being super amazing. And I'm super, like, the next 3 I haven't seen, which is really cool. So I'm December's a bunch of first watches for you then, huh? That's fun. Oh yeah, the only one I have seen is Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I cannot wait to return to that one. So
yeah.
I'm ready for that. But this was definitely a fine addition to the collection of movies now.
I tend to agree. I'm glad this has been one that, you know, the inception of this project, I went, what year was Blindspotting? 2018? All right, that is our 2018 movie. That was one of the first movies I plugged into the list, you know. So I'm very excited that we've not only covered fucking 54 movies prior to it, or whatever the fuck, but we've officially passed it up. We're almost fucking done. It's crazy, but
got 4 more movies.
That's nuts. We started this project with what we originally intended as 52 movies, but then, you know, we've had some fun here and there.
1994 threw a wrench into that one.
Yeah, we were like 1994 is too strong. We gotta do a 7 days, 7 pods. But you ready for a rating for Blindspotting?
I think I'm ready.
All right. So enjoyment for me, it's a 5. It's another 5. It's the third 5 in a row. After La La Land and Get Out.
Just got them on lock here.
Yeah, okay, well, again, I always forget because this isn't necessarily a continued project that people are like, oh yeah, can't wait for next week. Sometimes, you know, people are just like, oh yeah, I like that movie, let's listen to this. If you're joining us for the first time, the Penny Bloom rating scale is a great joy for me. We got 3 separate ratings. All out of 5 stars. So we got, as far as enjoyment is concerned, out of 5 stars. That's just how much the movie connects with us. It doesn't necessarily mean it made us feel good. It doesn't necessarily mean it made us feel happy, but it connected with us on a level that needed and necessitated a 5 out of 5 rating, or, you know, however it was there. And Blindspotting certainly did that. As it fulfills its genre, out of 5 stars, and filmmaking wise, out of 5 stars. That's everything all encompassed: the cinematography, the acting, the soundtrack, all the critical things that go into making a movie. That's where it gets implemented. So yeah, with Blindspotting, we got a 5 out of 5 in enjoyment. And genre, this one's going to be a tough one. What are we thinking for this?
On IMDb, it says crime, drama, and comedy. And like I guess like the smallest part of the movie, I'd say like the comedy part of this category. I mean, they did a fine job as far as like the comedy was handled. It wasn't corny. It wasn't out of place. It was.
Yeah, it only enhanced it. Like that last scene whenever he's like, "You good?" He's like, "No."
Oh,
yeah.
That was so cute.
He's like, "You want me to drink the shit? Yeah. You want me?" Motherfucker, that ain't half bad. He's like, God damn, man.
Of course. Fuck you. Like,
oh, I'm gonna give Derek Carr. I'm gonna give her a piece of my mind, bro. That traitor is son of a bitch. How you gonna take the Raiders and move them to Vegas?
You ready to go on to the next move? I think you only get one point a pistol at a customer per month. I mean
Maybe per day.
I think you only get one of those ever.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. No, that I don't know.
Got anything else you want to get off your chest? Because I don't think we can point a gun at another customer. I think you only get like one of those a day, maybe ever. Yeah, that shit was funny. It was a great resolution for their storyline. You know, like because they don't necessarily have a making up moment.
Yeah, like he could have just been done. He's like, I'm off probation. You know, I don't want to connect with this part of my life anymore. You know, and maybe Val's right. Maybe I'm like, I shouldn't be with him. But...
Well, I think there's just so many levels to it. You know, I think that conversation they had where he was like, "Say it." Like, I really think that impacted Miles in a way. He was like, I'd never thought about it like that. You know, like it's literally never occurred to me. So like it changes perspectives a little bit. You can tell he wants to make amends with him because his kid runs outside after he's like, "Fine, man," and he hands him the green drink. You know, he's like, "Here," and you're like, "Okay." So you know, Miles went and got it for him, and he's like, "It's a little bit of an olive branch."
A $10 drink, dude.
Yeah, that was nuts. That was nuts.
That's
let me get one.
Morning that was insane. Like people spend $5-6 on their morning coffee every day. Imagine spending $10.
$10, and like the way he was like, "Let me get one, bruh." like, I gotta see what this is all about.
Is it just me, or is one cigarette for $1 not a good deal? I don't smoke cigarettes, so I have no idea how much a normal pack costs. But like, he'd be saving so much more money. I mean, like, he shouldn't be smoking them in the first place. Maybe that's why he only buys one at a time.
I think that's probably the idea behind it, is that it prevents him from having access to a whole pack of cigarettes. Would be my guess. But there's also the fact that I'm not entirely sure this is a cigarette. It might be a Black and Mild.
He calls it a square. Let me get a square, I think is what he says. Whenever he,
yeah, I'm just the only thing I inhale is weed, so like I couldn't really tell you anything about
square. Yeah, does he call it a square, or am I?
No, I think you're right. Yeah, let me get a square, bruh. It's my identity, bruh, not the hair, bruh.
Yeah, I don't know. But I guess back to how it fulfills its genre, the movie.
Yeah, it's a slang for cigarettes. Got it.
Okay, that's good. But the more focused part of the movie, I'd say the drama, the crime part. I mean,
it's pretty fucking high, you know. As far as drama is concerned, you know, this ramps up tension in a way that you don't get out of a lot of movies. It has some serious commentary to lay before us, and we talked about that last week with Get Out, how a movie doesn't necessarily need that, but if it does have it and it is well done, it does nothing but enhance it. And I think the overwhelming amount of messaging in this movie is it's outstanding. It's really, really effectively done. Like I said, builds tension unlike any, like, in a way that's different than any movie I've ever seen, because you just, at any given moment, things just escalate to the absolute max. You have no idea they're about to take it to that level, you know? And then they do.
Kind of like a Train Spotting. Similar title.
Yeah, Train Spotting, Blindspotting, yeah.
How did I put the two of those together until just now? I don't know, kind of like a not similar vein of movie. Surprise, like kind of.
All about the
like it's about a very real topic, and it's just kind of like filming their lives and nothing spectacular.
Right.
But at any one moment, dead baby or baby has a gun, you know, or like, you know, it's like
right,
bam, and I don't know, yeah, it kept me in the whole time. I mean, I'm saying like the floor is probably like 4.75 as the floor, I'd say.
Yeah, I was gonna I'm trying not to be biased because like I said, this has been one of my top 10 favorite movies since I watched it in theaters. So like this for me is what The Shining was for you. Whenever we got to it early on in the project, and you were like trying to like distance yourself a little bit and let me come to conclusions about the rating, because I'm like, for me, this truly. It's near the top for me as far as how well it's done. It could be in that 4.8, 4.85 sort of, maybe even.
Well, okay.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know, man. Like 4.85 is feeling right to me. I feel like that might be a good place to plug it in at. How you feeling there?
I like that. I like it. Okay, it connects as much as A Dead Poets would. Has the thrill that The Departed gives you, and
the heart.
I'm trying to link all of them. No, but I do agree with that. Does sound right? Because 4.75, I'm like, I don't know. It felt like, that's why I said floor. It felt like a little bit too low, but I wasn't right at a 5 necessarily.
I feel you.
I feel like a really good medium here. This score's gonna be high. We're having a lot of great movies lately.
I'm telling you, man. These one day, the 2010s and the 20s are going to be viewed as some of the best movies ever made. It's going to be nuts because it feels
the switch of like you can make whatever movie you want now. The technology we have, whatever movie you want to make, you can make it now. The only thing, you don't have to worry about making it look good anymore. You just have to worry about making it be good in the first place. So, like, I think we've just hit a time of creative freedom, sort of. And man, yeah, we're living through a good era of movies.
Yeah, we are. Sure. We are. And critically, as it was made, how are we feeling about Blindspotting?
Let's see. Ballpark? We are probably around the funny. I forgot. Get Out was in its own.
Yeah, got its own little league there.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay.
I go. Yeah, somewhere in the 4.8 to 4.5 realm, probably 4.8. If I'm, I don't know. Maybe. Trainspotting did get a 4.85. Slumdog Millionaire got a 4.85.
Okay. It's seeming kind of.
It feels like 4.85 might be the move. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I love this movie.
That way. I think it's seeming that way. Let's see how that plays out. Makes it a 4.9 flat. Sheesh. Puts it with Slumdog and Forrest Gump.
All right. Forrest Gump, you're on my mind, boy.
Put on the top of them.
I love that.
It ties it for 5th.
Okay, top 5, baby.
Place.
Top 5. Our last 4,
Damn. Yeah.
4 out of the last 5 weeks have entered the top 5.
Damn.
In Interstellar, La La Land, Get Out, and Blindspotting. All above 4.9s.
Where are we going to slot in Blindspotting amongst these 4.85s? Maybe this isn't in order.
I don't think it's in order because I'm looking at Interstellar being towards the bottom of that list, and I'm like, I don't think we've organized this.
I don't think it is. I think sometimes I do it and sometimes I don't.
So I feel you.
I think I'll just do it in chronological then. But okay, I mean, starting December off strong.
Yeah, really good
4.9.
start to December for a 4.9 there. And it's gonna remain pretty goddamn good throughout this month.
The decade's almost done. We got one more movie, and then the decade.
We got another decade award coming up, baby.
Let's see. I mean, so far, the decade score is a 4.57. And that is, well, okay. I
It'll be
guess
second best.
the 90s really popped.
It had a curve though.
That's true. It did have a curve of
7 or 6 additional movies.
yeah. That is fair. Without the curve,
Well, and here's the thing. I think the average is only going to go up with Parasite too.
true.
If I had to guess, I believe that will take it up a notch. If I do say so myself.
Mm. Are you comfortable with Shawshank being our Friday, like our Thursday?
Oh yeah,
Or
like absolutely.
Being the Friday pick. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think it should be the score that we take out of that week. I feel
We'll need the Goodfellas one up there too.
Oh, good catch. And then 7, 8, and 9. So, without the curve, it's a 4.84.
Oh, so it actually went up.
It's better. Oh, the mask at a 3.5 actually brought. Wow. So the curve actually hurts it. Interesting.
All right, so it would have been fucking crazy. The 90s were.
Let's see. So I guess the movies that have brought this decade down: Inception at a 4.1, Planet of the Apes at a 4.02, and The Big Short at a 4.07.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it happens. It happens, you know. But we've also got some of the highest highs in a 4.9, 4.96, 4.95, another 4.95, and a 4.82. It's been a good stretch here of late.
4.49s and maybe another. Half of our movies be 4.9s.
I have a strong suspicion we will have another. Strong suspicion. But yeah, I think the 2010s already have the most above a 4.9, if I'm not mistaken.
If it's not, it's definitely not at the beginning. No. Okay, let's see the 80s with Raiders. Okay.
It won in the 80s.
The 90s, even with the curve, only has
2
additional. Yep. And then the aughts, 2. And then already the 10s has
4.
And then a possible 5.
Man, so the 2010s have been real good. The 2010s have been real good, and I believe we will have a 5th above 4.9.
I'm ready for Parasite. I am ready.
Yeah, and like these 3 in a row with Get Out, Blindspotting, Parasite, like I don't know that we've had a better like 3-film run that's not a trilogy, but like
we're getting so
works really well back to back to back. Yeah. Like
they're all different, but is Parasite focused on race a little bit? Or no?
It's more class. It's more.
That's right.
It's more class focused.
So I guess social.
Yeah, social commentary. Yeah.
This is, I don't know. It's been super fun watching these movies and like not seeing, like I haven't seen most of them. And I'm itching to watch Parasite. So
yeah, the only one that I haven't seen the rest of the way out is Nomadland. I have not watched Nomadland, and I'm very excited to, because I love Chloe Zhao. So I'm ready for that. But with that, Blindspotting came to a 4.9, and thus December is off to a great start. If you would, head to patreon.com/CoroBloom, where you'll find over 30 hours of exclusive content, All that money goes back into making sure I can put this podcast on. I don't make any money off of it except over there. So that's a great help. I'm not getting a ton out of it over there, but I'm putting the time in. I'm putting up exclusive content, and I really appreciate those that are out there supporting the show. It's really, really appreciated. Much love. If you would, head to Twitter, follow at Penny Bloom Pod, follow on Instagram at Penny Bloom Podcast. This week was 2018. We covered Blindspotting, and therefore next week we'll be covering a movie from 2019, and that will be Parasite. And that marks our first, or our second foray into the foreign films, as we did cover the 36th Chamber of Shaolin early in the project. So our second foreign film in the process here, and I'm very excited for it as it's one of my all-time faves as well. So I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It is always a pleasure.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And how come every time you come around, y'all got me feeling like monsters in my own town?